These are the 10 best vegetables to grow in the Philippines. You'll discover fast growers, heat lovers, and crops that give you weeks, sometimes months of harvest, even in tough conditions. Now, let's jump in, starting with the plant that thrives in extreme heat and gives you non-stop harvests all season long. Let's start with a vegetable that's so easy to grow. It almost feels like cheating. I'm talking about eggplant. If you want a plant that keeps on giving week after week, this one's for you. It's one of the most dependable vegetables you can grow in the Philippines, and here's why. Eggplant absolutely loves the sun. The more sunshine it gets, the happier it grows. That's great news because the Philippines has plenty of sunlight almost all year round. Once you plant it in well-draining soil and give it just a little care, it'll reward you with glossy purple fruits that taste amazing in all sorts of dishes, from tortang talong to grilled eggplant salad. Now here's the exciting part. One single eggplant plant can give you dozens of fruits over several months. That means you plant once and keep harvesting again and again. The key is to prune it carefully and pick the fruits regularly. That keeps the plant focused on growing more. You don't need a big yard either. You can even grow eggplants in containers, as long as the pot is large enough and placed in full sunlight. Just make sure you water it regularly and watch out for pests, like aphids or whiteflies. But overall, eggplant is tough, it's fast, and it's generous. So if you want a vegetable that turns one small space into a months-long harvest, this one should be at the top of your list. Now, let's move on to something even faster. If you want to see results in a hurry, then okra might just be your new best friend in the garden. Why? Because it grows fast, it grows strong, and it doesn't ask for much. Okra is what gardeners call low maintenance. That means it doesn't need a lot of fussing or special attention. Just plant the seeds in warm soil. Make sure they get enough sun and you're good to go. And since the Philippines is hot and humid, okra grows here like it's in paradise. One of the best things about okra is how quickly it grows. From seed to harvest, it can take just 50 to 60 days. That's less than 2 months. You could be cooking with your own fresh okra before your neighbors even realize what you planted. Another thing, okra plants don't need a lot of space. You can grow several of them close together. They grow upright like little trees, so they fit nicely in small gardens, borders, or even deep containers. And the more you harvest, the more pods they make. Just remember to pick the pods when they're young and tender. If you wait too long, they'll turn hard and woody. But that's easy to learn. Once you get into the rhythm of checking your plants every other day, you'll find yourself picking pod after pod without much effort. And here's something else to love. Okra is one of the easiest crops for beginners. If you've never gardened before and want to start strong, okra gives you quick wins and teaches you the basics fast. So if you want fast results, healthy plants, and a harvest that just keeps coming, okra is definitely a vegetable worth planting. And next, we're going to talk about a crop that grows up instead of out. What if I told you there's a way to grow more food in less space and it even looks beautiful while growing? That's where string beans come in. These are the perfect vegetables if you want to go vertical. String beans, also called yard-long beans or pole beans, grow as climbing vines. Instead of spreading out sideways like squash or cucumbers, they climb up poles, fences, or trellises. That means you can grow a whole bunch of them in a small area and still get a massive harvest. And the best part, these beans absolutely thrive in the Philippines. They love the heat, they love the sunshine, and when they start growing, they don't stop. You can plant them at the start of the dry season, and by the time summer rolls in, your trellis will be covered in green vines and long, dangling beans. The secret to getting a lot of beans is to harvest often. Every time you pick a bean, the plant makes more. It's like pressing a button for bonus food. Just check your vines every couple of days and gently twist off the mature beans. The more you do that, the more they grow. String beans don't ask for much either. They don't need rich soil. They don't need fancy fertilizer. Just give them a place to climb, water them regularly, and let the sun do the rest. Another bonus? They're great for small spaces. If you only have a wall or balcony, you can still grow string beans in pots as long as you give them something to climb. That makes them perfect for urban gardening or tiny backyard plots. So if you're dreaming of fresh, crunchy vegetables without needing a huge garden, try string beans. You'll be amazed at how much you can grow when you go vertical. Now let's move to something every home cook will appreciate. Let's be honest, tomatoes are a must-have in almost every Filipino kitchen. From breakfast to dinner, tomatoes are everywhere. But did you know they're also one of the most satisfying vegetables to grow? Once you've tasted a fresh tomato straight off the vine, you'll never want to buy supermarket ones again. Homegrown tomatoes are sweeter, juicier, and just better all around. And the good news is, they grow very well in the Philippines as long as you time it right. Tomatoes like sun, but they don't love too much rain. That's why the best time to plant them is during the dry season. Start your seeds in small pots, then move them to bigger containers or garden beds once they're strong. Make sure they get full sun and good airflow. Now, tomatoes do need a little more care than some of the other vegetables we've talked about. You'll need to stake them or use cages to support the vines. You might need to check for pests like aphids or whiteflies, but the reward is totally worth it. With just a few plants, you can grow enough tomatoes to fill your fridge and maybe even share with your neighbors. You can use them for salads, sauces, soups, stews, and even just sliced on toast with a little salt. One cool tip: tomatoes love companions. Plant them with basil or marigold to help keep pests away and improve flavor. That way, your garden becomes a small, happy ecosystem that works together. So if you want to grow a crop that's useful, delicious, and always in demand, start with tomatoes. They may take a bit more attention, but they'll give back even more in return. And now, let's look at something healthy, unique, and perfect for trellises. This next vegetable is perfect if you want something that's both easy to grow and packed with nutrition. Bitter gourd, also known as bitter melon, is a climbing vine that practically takes care of itself once it gets going. What makes bitter gourd so special? For one, it loves hot weather, and two, it grows fast. That makes it perfect for the tropical conditions of the Philippines. But even more than that, it's loaded with health benefits. It's good for your blood sugar, your digestion, and your immune system. Plant it at the base of a trellis or fence and watch it climb. As long as you give it sun and support, it'll grow long, leafy vines and start producing fruit within just a couple of months. The fruits look bumpy and green, and the taste is, well, bitter, but in a good way. Many people use bitter gourd in soups, sautés, or stuffed and fried. The bitterness might take some getting used to, but once you know how to cook it, it becomes a regular favorite. To keep your plants producing, make sure you harvest the fruits before they get to ripe. If they turn yellow and split, the plant might slow down, but if you pick them young, you'll get a longer and healthier harvest. One more reason to grow bitter gourd: pests usually leave it alone. That makes it one of the easiest and most reliable crops you can grow, especially if you're still learning. So if you want a climbing vegetable that grows strong, gives you something different, and helps keep your body healthy, bitter gourd is a great choice. If you're looking for the fastest growing vegetable on this list, bok choy or peche is the one. You can go from seed to harvest in just 30 days. Yes, only 1 month, and you'll have a leafy green that's ready to cook and eat. Bok choy, also called Chinese cabbage, grows best when the weather is a bit cooler, like early in the dry season or late in the rainy season. But because the Philippines is warm year-round, you can still grow it as long as it gets some shade during the hottest part of the day. This vegetable is perfect for small spaces. You can grow it in garden beds, raised boxes, or even recycled containers. The roots are shallow, so you don't need deep soil. Just make sure the soil is moist and well-draining, and you'll be surprised how fast the leaves grow. One of the best parts: you don't even have to pull out the whole plant to harvest. You can cut the outer leaves and let the middle keep growing. That way, One plant can give you food again and again for weeks. Bok choy is soft, tasty, and super healthy. You can use it in soups, stir-fries, or steamed as a side dish. Plus, kids tend to like it more than other greens because of its mild flavor. So if you want quick wins and a vegetable that grows fast, tastes great, and fits in any garden, bok choy is the one to try. Now, let's go underground and talk about a root crop that grows faster than you think. Here's a fun one. Radishes don't just grow fast, they also grow in places most people forget to use. If you've ever looked at your garden and thought, I don't have space, think again. Radishes grow underground and take almost no room at all. In fact, you can plant them between other vegetables like lettuce or tomatoes without bothering the other crops. That's called interplanting. And it's a smart way to double your harvest without needing more space. Radishes love the cooler parts of the year, but many varieties still do well in warm weather if you give them a little shade. From planting to harvest, it only takes around 25 to 30 days. That's even faster than bok choy. Another great thing? Radishes are fun to grow with kids. Every few days, you'll see the green leaves pop up, and before you know it, you can pull out the bright red or white roots from the soil. It's like a mini treasure hunt. You can eat them raw in salads or cook them in soups and stir-fries. Even the leaves are edible and good for stir-frying or making broth. Just be careful not to wait too long to harvest. If radishes get too old, they become woody and spicy. But once you get the timing right, you'll have a fresh, crunchy root crop that fits anywhere. So if you want to grow more without needing more space, try adding radishes between your other plants. They're fast, fun, and super easy to grow. Next, we'll go big with a plant that gives you giant fruits and lots of food at once. If you've got the space and want big rewards, squash is the plant for you. This vegetable grows wide, spreads out, and gives you large fruits that can feed the whole family. Squash needs more room than most other vegetables on this list, but it's worth it once it takes off. The vines grow fast and strong, and once the flowers start showing, it won't be long before you see baby squash forming at the tips. The best time to plant squash is during the dry season when the sun is strong. It loves heat and needs a lot of sunlight to grow well. Make sure you plant it in loose, fertile soil and water it deeply so the roots grow deep and strong. One plant can give you multiple fruits, and each one can be used in soups, stews, snacks, or even desserts. From ginitong calabasa to squash fries, there are so many ways to cook it. You can even eat the flowers. In fact, squash flowers are considered a delicacy in many places. Just make sure you leave some behind so the fruits can still grow. Another bonus? Squash vines cover the ground and help shade the soil. That means less weeds and cooler roots, which is great during the hotter months. So if you have space in your garden and want a plant that gives you large, tasty, and useful fruits for weeks, go with squash. It takes a little more room, but the payoff is big. And now, let's grow a tree that gives you a superfood right from your backyard. Now let's talk about something amazing. Moringa, also called the drumstick tree, is one of the easiest and most useful plants you can grow in the Philippines. And it's not just a vegetable, it's a superfood. Moringa grows fast. Once you plant a cutting or seed, it starts growing like crazy. In just a few months, you'll have a small tree with lots of leafy branches and the leaves. They're packed with vitamins and minerals. You can cook moringa leaves in soups like tinola, or mix them into scrambled eggs, noodles, or even smoothies. They're soft, tasty, and really good for your body. The best part is, once moringa is established, you barely have to take care of it. It survives hot days, dry spells, and even poor soil. It's the kind of plant you plant once and enjoy for years. You can keep the tree short by pruning it often. That way, you'll always have fresh leaves within easy reach. And every time you cut it, it grows back stronger and fuller. If you're serious about growing your own food, moringa is a must-have. It grows fast, feeds your family, and takes almost no effort. So if you want a vegetable that gives you year-round nutrition with very little work, plant Moringa. You'll never regret it. And finally, let's look at a plant that gives you food today and something totally unexpected tomorrow. This last vegetable is fun, fast, and surprisingly useful. It's called sponge gourd or leafy, and yes, it gives you food and bath sponges from the same plant. Sponge gourd is a climbing vine. Just like bitter gourd or string beans, it loves full sun, warm weather, and grows super fast when it's happy. You'll see long green fruits hanging from the vine in no time. If you harvest the fruits young, they're soft and edible, great for soups, stir-fries, and even grilled. But if you leave them on the vine to mature, the inside turns into a natural sponge. That's right, you can dry it out, peel the skin, and use it to scrub your dishes or take a shower. How cool is that? The plant does best with a trellis or fence to climb. Just plant a few seeds in moist soil, keep them well watered, and make sure they get plenty of sunlight. You'll be surprised at how quickly the vines take off. This vegetable is great for beginners, and it's also a fun one for kids. Watching the sponge form inside the fruit feels like magic. So if you want a plant that feeds you now and helps clean your home later, sponge gourd is the perfect mix of practical and fun. And there you have it, 10 of the best vegetables to grow in the Philippines. From eggplants that produce for months to sponge gourds that turn into bath sponges, these plants are easy, productive, and perfect for warm, tropical gardens. You don't need a big yard. You don't need fancy tools. You just need a little sun, some soil, and a bit of patience. Start with just 1 or 2, and you'll be amazed at what you can grow. If this helped you, don't forget to give it a like, leave a comment with your favorite veggie, and subscribe for more beginner-friendly gardening tips.